All right, guys, welcome back to Project Infinite. This is episode 7. My name is Tyler,
I'm Taylor.
and this episode is called A Room Full of Mirrors.
So if you guys were tuning into our any of our social media pages, we actually made a short horror comedy skit beforehand about a week ago about this episode. It's called A Room Full of Mirrors. So this episode is going to be solemnly based around, I guess we'll just call it the mirroring effect. There's many other names for it. Today's we're gonna be changing it up a little bit. We'll be going more so in segments. So we'll be kind of breaking down our videos in I guess in just bits and parts because we understand it can be a bit tricky and hard to tune into a 2 to 3 hour video. We understand that not everybody has the attention span to do that. So we're just gonna kind of we have some stuff written down in our notes here. We're gonna just kind of read off of our notes, and then we're gonna kind of riff back and forth a little bit here,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll just kind of, if something comes to mind, we'll talk for a little bit, and we'll break that down into certain segments and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Before going into that, like he just said too, if you haven't seen the short film, you could check our most previous video on this channel. It's right there. Uh, that's not that's not going to be the only short film that we're going to do. That's part of the direction that we want to go with 818 Creators is to get into filmmaking, and a good way to get into that, at least what I feel, is to just do short films, do little teasers. And if you were watching with this episode, of course, and our most previous episode, Polarity and Duality, we did a teaser for that one as well. So if you haven't checked those out, go take a look at them, just a couple of videos back. But expect more teasers, expect more short films, expect more just like creative videos, whether they be reels or short films or whatever. Just expect more of those coming. I don't know if we'll do one for every single episode. I don't know if we'll do a teaser for every episode, but just expect them to come a lot more. But if the inspiration calls for it, and if the episode calls for it, then most likely it's gonna have a teaser or a short film attached. Come out beforehand.
Yep. And thank you to our dear friend Brendan, who actually helped us put that video together. It was fun filming that.
Yeah,
We had a lot of great laughs.
yeah. Thank you to my manager at my job, Kaylin. Thank you for letting us film in your bathroom. You guys are awesome. Uh, Truly appreciate it.
Yeah, and if you have any ideas or anything about a skit that you think we should do, comment it.
Yeah,
Comment an idea or anything like that, and we'll definitely look into it. Because we're always looking for new, fresh ideas on anything. We got a boatload of ideas, but it wouldn't hurt to take in more ideas, especially from friends and family. If you guys got, things you want to see come to life.
yeah. Definitely have a lot of ideas. Just wait in the stock right now. You have to find the right timing and the scheduling, if depending on if you need actors or if you need people to be inside of it. You have to make sure everything lines up to be able to, especially if you're working on someone else's time, you kind of have to wait on other people's time.
Yeah. So we'll jump right into it. This episode, A Room Full of Mirrors, we'll give you guys, I'll kind of go off the top here what we're talking about when we say a room full of mirrors, or just mirrors in general. What do you see when you're in a room full of mirrors? You'll see mirrors in every direction, all reflecting your image. And in those reflections, you'll see an image of yourself within an image of yourself endlessly. It will literally be an infinite amount of reflections, all reflecting back at each other. So if you kind of understand what I'm talking about, like if you were to stand right in a room with mirrors everywhere, you are literally going to see an endless amount of reflections of you. If you look to your left, you're going to see yourself looking to the left, and you're going to see reflections looking left, and you're just going to see an endless loop. What it would look like, kind of like on the movie Interstellar when he's in the fifth dimension. It would just be like endless loops going forever and ever and ever. It would look like the bulk beings kind of just
Yeah.
going endlessly forever.
Or if you ever have those mirrors that open, like you have the middle mirror, then you have these mirrors that open this way. Well, then you kind of get a glimpse of what infinity looks like, can look like.
Yep. So that analogy is the same vice versa in your day to day life. You might not understand that due to the separation aspect of the tapestry we call life. Life is a crisscross pattern between energy and carbon based life forms. I'm assuming that's somewhere along the lines of where the name Adam came to be. You know, the first man, Adam. They say Adam. Uh, Molecules and atoms together forming humans. I guess that can be used as a symbolic meaning for the cross. You know, like the cross that you see in a lot of religions or cross that people carry. It's a universal symbol that people carry with them, and it actually carries a lot of semblance of hope for people. Um, I guess we are. I mean, we are a crossbreed, truly. I mean, if you don't understand that, we'll dabble into more of that later on. I mentioned the word separation a little bit above. That concept falls right into the category of the mirroring effect, I'll call it. Uh, the separation aspect plays a vital role in the room of mirrors. To understand and truly grasp this idea, you must look within yourself and look at the situation you're in, whether the conditions be good or bad, and be able to say, the storm is terrifying. I am the storm. The sun is shining. I am the sun. You are both. You are it, and it is you. You just don't recognize it as you because you yourself are your own identity, able to differentiate the storm, the sun, and yourself. It's just a mere reflection of who and what we are. Um, we spoke a little bit about polarity a couple episodes ago, and it's what I mean by that is just it falls into the oneness of life. Everything that you look at is all just one. You know, whatever, when you look at an animal, you're looking at a reflection of yourself. If you're looking at your friend, your brother, or somebody, you're looking at a mere reflection of yourself. They're just a different aspect of yourself. They're relative to you. That's why a lot of Native Americans, they'll say, hey, that's that guy over there, that's my relative. They might be more so saying it in a way that means like that's my cousin, but what you're really saying is you're relative to that person. You're just a different aspect of who that person is. They're you, but they're a different version of you.
Yeah, if you look at a lot of, at least in Ojibwe, I can't speak for any other tribe, but in Ojibwe, especially the language, there's how do you say that? Animate objects and then
Inanimate
inanimate
objects.
objects. Um, a lot of things are looked at as like as an actual being, like as a relative. Like you say something as like a hand drum or a drum that they use in the circle. Those are animate objects. So you look at them as a being. That is also your relative. There's a lot of things. It's not just people in the Ojibwe that are where we call things relatives. Like everything is your relative, whether trees, uh, plants, um, animals, all that stuff, all those things are a you know part of it.
Yeah. The I remember some time back, well, actually a long time ago, back in middle school. I remember my teacher. He was talking to us, and this was, I think, maybe in the seventh grade. He held up. He was a really spiritual guy, and I never really thought about it at the time. But looking back and thinking about it now, he was really like in tune with himself, and he was a really humble, spiritual guy. But I remember he held up a marker and he said, "I don't." He was talking, and he was just talking and talking about life and matter and energy and stuff. And at the time, I didn't understand it. But he held up a marker and he showed the class, and he said, "I don't." He said, "Everything is energy. This thing right here is a piece of consciousness." He said it has a soul in a sense. And like at the time, I obviously didn't understand that, but he was talking about an inanimate object possessing consciousness, and that
Mm-hmm.
holds a lot of value and truth. So I mean, that just kind of falls into that. And he was Ojibwe.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so I'll move on here. Take a deep look within yourself, and then look outward. What do you see? Do you see a series of downward spiraling, or do you see an upliftment of uprising? Luckily for you, you get to determine that. If you're happy with where you're at and who you are as a person, then that's that. But if you're not happy with where you're at, you can change. You don't like the clutter, unclutter it. You don't like the huge mess, clean it. You don't enjoy living like a farm animal, then clean it. And that's no offense to farm animals given their circumstances, because I mean they just don't really care about those types of things. Human beings do have the choice to make that difference.
I think that kind of comes from when we were younger, grandma just saying, clean up the room, where she'd over exaggerate, but she'd say it looks like a pigsty in here.
Yeah, yeah, we'd always get scoffed at, but it was a good scoffing. It wasn't like a bad scoffing. Like she would, get on us about making sure we had our rooms clean and the house was clean.
Hmm.
The one thing I don't do very often at this point in my life is choose to become a victim of my circumstances, because I know ultimately my circumstances are a direct reflection and reaction to my actions and decisions. I know that every situation I'm in is mirroring something at me. The reason we don't recognize it as ourselves is because of the ego. The ego has its own identity and acts as an anchor. One of its main functions is to differentiate between the tree and myself and many, many more things, and then some. I just use the tree analogy just because, I mean, it's one of our closest relatives, I guess you can say, for a human being, just because without trees, we can't exist, you know. Um,
Yeah, that just reminded me of just very, very quickly. Like, I don't know if I said it in another episode, but I definitely said it somewhere where like trees are like the just a it's like a literal reflection of our connection between the physical and the non-physical, like the physical realm and the spirit realm, because obviously they're rooted in Mother Earth, which is the physical, and they reach up to the sky, which is, you can say, is the unseen, the spirit realm. So trees are a literal manifestation of that, of a doorway.
yeah. Another thing too, what I mean when we've spoken about this, but being able to differentiate between us and other things, a lot of people, I mean, probably most people right now, believe that they're completely separate, which you are in a sense. You are separate from everything else, but at the same time, you are the same. You're just, your understanding of it may be a bit different. Maybe you're not at a point right now in life where you recognize other people as your people. A lot of us, we like to categorize ourselves into ethnic backgrounds, we'll say. And, so you see another person of a different race, you'll say, that's not my people, but in reality, those are your people no matter what, no matter how you look at it. It's just a different species of people, but they're still the same, but you can differentiate them being different from your people, from your clan, I guess.
Identity.
Yeah, just all identity.